Welcome, my friends, to the Predictive PlayBook. We're at Mannys Pub, as you can tell. I'm here with Tony Finn to start the festivities, and we're going to have several people dropping in and out throughout this show. And that's what we're trying to create, a situation or environment where, it's the end of the day and you want to go have a beer or something or the beverage of your choice, and you actually are fortunate enough to have many friends, and we all agree, and we're going to meet at Mannys Pub and talk sports and, do what guys like us do. So, Tony, how was your weekend, and how did today go so far? You can tell I've done too many shows today.
I haven't had the week. I was pretty. I think my week was pretty pedestrian. I had. I think I was. I don't. I'm not. I can't be definitive. Let's just say I kissed my sister. Wasn't any good. So, but however,
right?
But that's only because Rob blocked me. I tried to copy off him, and he blocked me all week. So I don't even know where Rob is. Oh, there he is. Hey, Rob, quit blocking me, man. He just fell asleep. Look at him.
Hello, fellas. I'm making a whole bunch of adjustments here because the camera from Skype to StreamYard.
Well, there's something wrong with my camera because my hair is like white. That's just not. It's gray. That's just BS. I'm dark, black.
That's
dark.
Black. You guys look good. I mean, you're always good looking. I mean, what the heck?
Well, yeah, that's true.
But I actually had the privilege to have a special guest on today, Paul Carr from True Media Sports and ESPN Stats and Info. And, admittedly, and I do admit this publicly as often as needed, that soccer is something I've always been interested in, but there hasn't been enough time in the day to delve into it. But when you talk to a guy like that, I'm ready to delve into it. He was absolutely fantastic.
Why are you ready to delve into it? I'm curious.
Because there's investment opportunity.
Oh, well.
Plain and simple.
You only got about 100 or 380 third world country leagues. That doesn't even include the EPA, the La Ligas and all the major leagues. So yeah, lots of investment and degenerate opportunities as well. Midnight for us, or for me at least, we got Australian soccer when we got nothing else to bet on.
Well, we focused on the elite teams like Manchester, I think, was one of them. I'm just kidding. But he really liked the in the Real Madrid game, the first semifinal.
Yeah.
And it is a different animal. I mean, it's a semifinal. We're so used to semifinals being one game and then advance to the championship.
Yeah.
They have two, and you have aggregate.
Yeah, it's convoluted for sure. If it's not a single league game or a friendly or something like that, if you have to take aggregates and all those things into consideration in your investments, then you better be informed. You better be damn informed, right? So there's so many leagues, John. So many leagues. Wow.
Hakeem will be stopping by. Top Flight Sports is stopping by. Ira Silver making his second appearance for NHL free pick. So it's going to be a jam.
We're going to have to get a card ski because we are in Mannys Pub, and I don't think he's old enough to be in here.
Well, I'm sure he has ways.
He got fake ID.
He probably just gave Manny a week of free NBA picks or something, and they did well. And by the way, Manny's going to be giving a pick at the end of the show too from now on. So we're going to have a bartender's view, which I think is important. I think we should have a
when
vote.
Are we going to meet Manny? By the way, I'd like to meet Manny, and
very, very camera shy.
And I want to make sure that he has his green card. No, we gotta have his green card, or Rob will get. He will get quite upset.
It had something to do with possibly you recognizing him, and extradition came into the sentence or something like that.
Yes.
I get confused
with down by the Mayan ruins or something. I don't know. I remember Manny. Manny saved me.
Right.
I kind of freaked out down there.
Well, I know you have to take off because you have another pub to go see.
I do. I got to go get my tequila vaccine in about 7 minutes.
Tony is going to get his first dose of his vaccine, so we hope it goes well and his hair doesn't turn a different color.
Yeah, I'm gonna ask for the tequila and Quaalude vaccine so that I could be immune to them, as opposed to who cares about if I can get immune to those two, I'll be a step ahead of everybody.
I would think so.
Yeah, I mean,
don't be coming to my house.
What to say about that? I guess that's a good thing.
Huh?
I guess it's a good thing to have such a high tolerance.
Well, it used to be. There is no tolerance anymore. No recovery and no tolerance at all.
So here, if you want to go get your vaccine shot, we need a free pick from you for tonight's card.
You want some preference? Would you like La Liga, or would you like the EPL? Maybe you like the Mexican. I'm a little fond of the Mexican league. Tijuana, my favorite team. I don't know.
I can tell Rob's very impressed with that statement.
The Yankees minus 1.5 runs tonight at about a pick'em, at about even money, maybe minus 105. Garcia, the young kid.
Yep.
Got a really dynamic curve. Got a nice late breaking 4-seamer and 2-seamer. He's young. He's only 21. He debuted last year in COVID as a 20-year-old wearing pinstripes. Quite the it's enough pressure just to be in a casual circumstance as a Yankee, and so the kid's got some savvy, and we'll see. He's got a lot of upside, but it's not as much Harvey as I'm playing against. Much Garcia as I'm playing against Harvey too. Harvey won for the first time in like 18 years last week. He hadn't won since. Last time he won, there was no COVID, there was no pandemic, there was no. What's the latest social media craze?
TikTok.
There was no TikTok last time he won. It's been a while, right? And so, what do you think the probability is of him winning consecutive games?
Well,
I think they're low.
If everything equal, it would be 50-50. But
now it's not a coin flip. This is not a coin flip. This is Matt Harvey.
Oh, so okay, that's one of those the coins that you cheat with. So it probably doesn't come up.
It's a three-sided coin
in a row. Yeah,
it's just three-sided coin. One side's got heads, one side's got tails, the other side's got Garcia of the Yankees. So it's pretty much a trick question, a trick flip. Yeah, you're right.
Well, Garcia, you're absolutely right. If you watch that game tonight, for people out in the chat, you're going to see spin rates that are very, very high. And his fastball, even though they say it's a 4-seamer, it has heavy sinking action, like among the elite. And I think you might agree with me, Tony. His biggest problem is that his pitches sometimes move so much that they end up fooling the batter and end up getting called balls. And when I say fooling the batter, it fools the umpire too.
That comes with, if you watched, did either one of you watch DeGrom in his last start? Did you watch any of that?
Yep. Amazing.
Did you, Rob, did you watch any of DeGrom?
Yeah, amazing.
Nasty as nasty could nasty be. I think we were talking, I don't know if it was you or I was doing a show with someone. Maybe it was you. It might have been Kansas City, or it might have been Gabe's, that show that he produces and stars in, the 50 million listeners. He is tall and lanky like Ryan was in '69 when he was a young pitcher for the Mets, but his stuff moves like Ryan's much straighter and it was a little bit hard. Velo's a little higher, but Seaver was nasty too, man. Nasty fit. Anybody can strike. Was 18? Did he strike out 18? Didn't he? Yeah.
Well, how about Bieber and Garrett? Bieber has 57 strikeouts to start, 5 starts. That's a franchise record. I think it's also the league record. And then Cole's distant 50 strikeouts.
Cole's, I will tell you right now, Bieber's getting all the headlines and stuff, but Cole's his peripherals and are a little more. They're even more impressive. His swing and miss is stupid. That percentage of swings and misses is absolutely stupid.
No prayer. 98 up in the zone. They didn't have a chance.
It's like as soon I'm up to bat, I know as soon as he starts his windup, I'm going to swing and then bail just in case he's tying inside on me.
Have you ever faced a 100-mile-an-hour pitch?
No, I have not. I've faced 90. A 90, which is, Adam Wainwright, but less than stuff was pretty, it's just, everything's relative, but I couldn't catch up with 90.
What's relative is if a pitcher has to have the good off-speed stuff, and the off-speed stuff can be 55 miles an hour like Greinke, and then all of a sudden that fastball looks 95 and it's 80.
Mm-hmm.
But
most important pitch in baseball is a changeup, not that unless you're DeGrom, that 102 mile an hour two-seamer and four those things are abs. You don't need a change of pace because it moves so much, and it moves out. It's that late movement, and it's a good 12, 14, 16 inches moving. There's just no way you can't hit that.
It looks more to the human eye, but actually you can't really see it after the last 8 feet.
No, you're right. You don't.
You're not able to actually see the ball. Your mind maps out where it's going. But I did it on a machine when I was coaching baseball a lot. And I was in a much younger condition, and I always remember when we got to 90. Okay, that was something. 94 was really pushing the envelope. But when you got through 94, went to 95 or 96, different world.
Yes,
different world.
90. Listen, let's be honest. 90s for me was I faced some high 80s when I was playing Legion ball, in high school.
Yeah.
But that's 100,000 years ago too. They didn't have the technology we had plenty of technology to cheat. Spitballs, make that baseball move like a wiffle ball. And then you knew you were probably going to be X'd, and from the umpire was going to say, well, wait a minute. That ball worked. Well,
Tony, I know you have to get out of here, so
I'm sorry I had to go.
I don't want you to be late to that vaccine.
Maybe I'll miss it. Maybe I'll miss. No, I got to go. Good luck tonight, guys. Hey, Rob, I need to know what's your guys' best bet. What's your best bet? Come on, spit it out.
Baseball?
No, baseball. And what do you like in the NBA? I got 2 plays in the NBA. What do you like?
I played Memphis because I'm fading Denver mechanically.
Okay.
And since Will Barton went down, I'm really fading Denver.
Well, I played them I've played them the last 2 road games, and after they we're 2-2. I played them both, and I feel like I'm pushing the envelope tonight at altitude, but I wouldn't argue with that at all.
Yeah, I think they got enough bodies to run. And what else do I like there? You know what? I took a shot with a first half total, Utah, Minnesota over, just because it was such a low scoring game
that one, Rob.
Saturday.
Yep.
I like the under. I like the under the Lakers until I looked up a second time and saw that somebody they'd gotten hammered pretty good.
Oh, Ski loves the Lakers. He might be hammering.
Oh, well, if Ski likes the Lakers, you tell him right now, I'll take the 15 points.
Baseball, we're just printing money by playing Woodruff and Corbin Burns first 5 run line. All they do is get out of there with wins. They shut you out for 5 innings. The team covers.
Can you get
I got Corbin Burns minus 120 until these numbers become 160 for first 5 minutes.
Yeah. Can you do this? Can you get an alternative on the first 5?
Yes, I can.
What's the number on that? Now I'm curious about that.
Pull one up here.
Because I might just have to voice command that on the drive down to the. I'm only about 3 minutes away from Yankee Stadium. That's where I'm getting my vaccine. So
this Rogers kid from Miami is good too, but I'm still.
Yeah,
I
played
is. Burns. Miami's got nothing but good arms.
No, true.
I could pull it up on the wagertalk.com/.
Oh, listen, you guys go on. I'm going to get out of here at 7 after, and I told myself I was going to leave at 5 after. So I'll check back when I'm done. It's only, like I said, for me, it's my first. I don't have to hang around. Out, and I'll check see if you guys are still hanging around.
Right.
And I might see who you got coming on. So you got the hockey guy coming on. Last time he gave us.
Ira's going to be on next, and then Adam, Top Flight Sport follows him.
Enjoy, guys.
How come you said hi?
All right, Tone, be good.
Tell everybody hello and speak very clearly at my eulogy. Okay, I'll see you guys.
Just don't be scared. Hey Ira, what's going on?
Our pal.
Hey, what's going on, guys? How are you?
Good.
How are you, Ira?
Yeah, we got Rob in the middle. We had Rob. I don't know if you know this guy. Let me see. We made a comment of Johnny Detroit. Someone wake Rob up. You know him?
Tell Johnny it's because I have to work 24 hours to keep pace here.
Well, I'm just passing it on. But for those that don't know Ira, it would almost be shocking that you don't know him pretty well by following just the shows that he appears on with me. But he's pretty darn good with NHL. And we're glad that he could pop in here to have a pint with us. And then we'll be sure to get to the window with what he recommends here, because he's one of the few that I actually tail. So let's see what Ira likes tonight.
Well, hopefully the bad beats stop this week, because we had the Nashville game last week. They blew a 4-1 lead in the third. And then on Saturday, I had the Hurricanes against the Florida Panthers, and they blew a 3-1 lead in the third. And then last night I had the Dodgers, and they blew a 7-1 lead in the seventh inning. So maybe I've taken the worst of it. So hopefully we're going to start climbing out of this bad beat hole here.
But keep in mind too, you're realistically you're coming from a pretty high level. That win streak was pretty impressive and it was pretty long. And as we talk about, you're going to get back some. I mean, you just don't keep winning week after week after week after week. Once in a while, maybe you have that one magical season where that kind of thing happens. But people got to realize, especially the ones just starting out, it's a grind. It's no easy path to any type of profit. And if you think you're going to be rich in like a month or two, then you better buy a lottery ticket, because that probably has a better chance.
Yeah, no, I hear you. So basically the first game on the board that I like, John, and it might sound like pretty square here, but I just don't see it any other way. I've watched a lot of both of these teams and at the metrics and everything, and it's going to be James Reimer going up for the Carolina Hurricanes against the Dallas Stars. Dallas, 2015 versus the Hurricanes 31-10. You may get Teravainen back tonight for the Hurricanes. I still haven't heard word yet, but I'm gonna lay the -120 with the Hurricanes here on the road in Dallas. In my opinion, Carolina is a much superior team, both offensively and defensively. And while you have Ottinger in net, who's done pretty good work this year for Dallas, I just don't see how Dallas pulls out the victory here. So I'm gonna lay the -120 with the Hurricanes tonight in Dallas. And hopefully we don't get bad beat again.
I like what you're saying there, Ira, because I'm looking at the betting flows on the Wager Talk site odds page, and you have overwhelming percentages of tickets and money on Carolina, but the line opened at 135. It's now -120, -118 at Penny. That's a real good bullish sign for Dallas. So
I like Carolina.
Oh, you like Carolina?
I said it's very square of me to be playing that one, but I do like here.
Well, at least we're giving both sides of the game. I guess we'll need Rob Vino to decide who to take here. But keep in mind too, mine is that's just one stat. It's just one thing that we everybody that comes on this show looks at. We might look at 100 different parameters, 100 different ways to handicap a game, and this is just one of them. And it's just betting flows, and it's honestly, it's only gone from 135 to -118, so it's not a tremendous move, but it is noteworthy. But let's put it this way too: Ira has enough credibility with me that I would not bet Carolina I would not bet Dallas if he is on Carolina.
And yeah, Rob, I don't know if you have anything to add, but I know it's a square play. I mean, I know that's why I opened with it.
Yeah, no, I can't add, Ira, because I don't handicap hockey, so I have to listen to you and learn. Mike, I can't. I have nothing constructive to add. Just no knowledge of the sport. So playoff hockey, we love to watch as a fan, but regular season hockey, the way all the seasons overlap from September through May, I credit guys who can handicap all these things: college hoop, NBA, Major League Baseball, NHL. I can't add anything intelligent to that conversation or analysis.
Yeah, and I think the biggest thing here with the line movement and why people are the sharps, if they are sharps betting the other side, which it seems like they are taking Dallas, is because Carolina has the third string goalie in there.
Which would see there again. I don't know that. I'm kind of maybe one step ahead of Rob in NHL handicapping. My handicapping starts with the numbers and it narrows down the field of possible candidates, and then it goes from there.
Yeah, I mean, he's their third string goalie behind Mrazek and Nedeljkovic, however you pronounce that name, who's a rookie, who's fantastic, one of my favorite goalies, up and coming. So Reimer is the third string goalie for Carolina, and I mean, he's a veteran, 33 years old, but he's had a solid season so far. It's not like he's a bad third stringer. He's 14-5 with a 2.68 goals against and almost a 91 save percentage. So it's not like you're throwing me there in net to stop shots, coming my way. I mean, it is a guy who's tried and true and been through the ringer, and he's had a pretty solid season. So for me, I just don't see the Dallas side here.
Yeah, it's good stuff. You have time for one more, or is there one more? Before you have to take off and get home for your dinner?
Yeah, I do have one more for you. Again, I want to know before I give you my pick, I want to know what the betting flows are on the Florida Panthers versus the Nashville Predators tonight.
Well, let's see here. I'm looking at the board right here. Nashville, and Florida. The action is definitely on. Here's another weird situation. The action is on Florida, but the line opened at -130, and it's come down a little bit to 120. Pinnacle's 125. Circa's the lowest. Westgate's the lowest right now at 120. So modest move lower, despite a heavy wave of tickets on Florida.
Yeah, I mean, this is a really interesting matchup. You're going to have Dreiger in net against for the Florida Panthers against, it looks like, Yusuf Suros for the Predators, who's been arguably one of the hottest goalies in the league over the last 6 to 8 weeks. He did blow that 4-1 lead, but it was really no fault of his own. It was just really bad turnovers in their own zone that led to pretty easy opportunities for the Blackhawks last week to make that comeback and ultimately win the game. But I do agree with the public side here again, which I'm not really loving. I do like the Florida Panthers tonight. I just don't see how the Predators are going to be able to score against the Panthers. And while Saros has been really good in net, this Florida offense is fantastic. Tops of the league. They're really, really solid offensively. Defensively, a little bit suspect, but Dreiger is a phenomenal goalie for the Panthers, and he's just returning from injury. He had a pretty good game on Saturday after allowing the first 3 goals. He was solid in that late third period. So I do once again agree with the public here. And, sometimes the public's right? I mean, it's not going to be the most overwhelming action. I doubt it's the most heavily public concentrated bet, either one of those, the Carolina or the Panthers game. But, sometimes the public's going to be right. And I have to tend to agree with the public here. At Florida -125 against the Nashville Predators tonight.
I have a pretty cool system to support Florida. You're going to play on road teams using the money line, and you said Florida's a very good offensive team, which they are. They're also a mistake-free team, ranking pretty low in the league, well, very low in the league, in what opponents get in terms of power play opportunities. So to start over, we play on road teams using the money line that are mistake-free teams, averaging 4 or fewer power plays per game, with the game occurring after the All-Star break or the 41st game, and is on fire on offensively. I would say anytime a team can go 5 straight games with 30 or more shots on goal, I would say they're cooking pretty good, and that's exactly what Florida has done. That's gone 132 and 101 for 57%, but it's made the $100 better over $4,500 in profits just following those parameters. So I agree with you, Ira, on this one. Florida, I like Florida too.
And then I had one more question for you regarding the betting flows. I just don't have it up in front of me. Montreal, Calgary. How's that game shaping out right now?
Really not too much. 65% of the tickets, 52% of the money on Calgary. Line opened at -120, Circa 128, Westgate 125. Pretty static across the board. DraftKings 136, but it comes back at +118. That's pretty wide. Pennies -128, +116. So not too much. The under 5.5 is carrying some pretty big vig at -25. Most of the places are 27 or 30.
Yeah, I see that as well on the vig. But yeah, I think this is a decent spot to back the Canadians here. You're gonna have Jake Allen in goal against the against the Calgary Flames, while Markstrom will be in net for the Flames facing the Canadians team. I feel like this Canadians team has been underperforming as of late, and I faded them in a couple spots. I feel like this is a kind of a bounce back spot, a buy low opportunity for the Canadians. It looks like you're going to have Kotkaniemi back. Potentially you're going to have Thomas Tatar back. It really depends. He's a game time decision. But I do kind of think it's a decent spot to back the Canadians. While it's not an official play, just to kind of give the viewers a little bit of my kind of overview on the slate, it would be a game that I have a strong lean to.
Okay. So for your picks for the show, Carolina and Florida, and you have a pretty heavy lean on Montreal.
Yep, exactly.
That is awesome. Ira, thanks very much for stopping in, and make sure you drive safe home. If you need an Uber, make sure you use one. All right.
Real quick before I go, Rob, any baseball bets for me? Any best bets?
Finn just left. He had the Yankees. He liked them first 5, I think, right, Rob?
I don't know if he had run line, full game. I forget.
Oh, it was run line.
I think it was
Good
full
point.
game run line.
Full
we were
game
talking
run line,
off air, Ira, real quick, and I happen to like Corbin Burns, Milwaukee first 5 on the run line. I just, he's -120, and I've just blindly been playing Woodruff and Burns first 5 run line, and it's just keeps printing money. So until the odds makers adjust with the number that you have to lay, to me, $1.20 at home is so cheap for first 5 with this guy. So no disrespect towards Rogers of Miami, but certainly I'd love to be on, or I am on Burns here tonight, -0.5 a run.
Yeah, I tend to agree with you. It's just hard because I do really like Rogers, and I think like the Brewers' offense to me is just horrible. I don't know how they've been scoring runs this past weekend, so it'll be interesting for sure. But I love Burns. I mean, that we talked about it on the last show. So I see Adam says he's got a pick for me, so I'm gonna hang out and watch the rest of it so I can hear it. But Rob, John, as always, great to see you, and hopefully we'll do it again soon.
Yeah, you bet, Ira. Thanks a lot for stopping in.
Take care, Ira.
Appreciate it.
Bye, guys.
You got it, man.
Yeah, he's right with the Brewers offense being the one thing that, if you weren't going to play, that would be the negative, right, John? I mean, yesterday they scoop by, they get enough. They got 1 run for Brandon Woodruff and win 1-0 after 5. And I think Josh Hader and Devin Williams, the back end of that bullpen that's so solid, was worked a little bit yesterday. So you want to take the bullpens out of it. And these 2 guys, first 5 innings, have just been dynamite. So, and you could play the money line, but it gets so much more expensive.
Yep.
To where laying a half a run brings it so far down. It's been successful so far. We'll see if we can keep it rolling.
Well, Rob, I think you have met Adam. I'm not sure, but if you haven't, this is Adam Trigger from Top Flight Sports. He is on sportsmemo.com. So welcome to the Mannys Pub, Adam. Great to see you.
Thanks for having me back, John. Good to see you again, Rob. Hope everyone's having a good Monday.
We are. It's, how can you have a bad Monday when you end up like this?
Yeah, no, I feel you. Yeah, no, I definitely agree. Yeah, so I wanted to pop on. I've got a couple plays. Do you want me to
Great.
just kind of get into them?
Yeah, go ahead.
All right, so
Yeah.
I have two plays tonight. I'm just going to give out. I've got one up for sale and one's a free play, but I'm just going to give them both out here. So if you go over to my page, don't worry about spending the $9 because the one I'm going to give out is the $9 play. If you want to buy something, I have a Korean baseball game for later, so you can buy that. But so we'll start with the one I have up for sale. It's the baseball play. I'm going to go under 8 in Twins Indians tonight, and I'll give you a little breakdown here. The Indians are not a good offensive team. They're probably bottom 5. I would say they're probably one of the worst offensive teams in the American League. At least right now, they're hitting 206 as a team. And if you look on paper, it's definitely a worse lineup than the Indians had the last couple of years. And they've never really hit this particular group of Twins pitching well. Last year, they played 10 times, and the Twins held the Indians to 2.6 runs per game over those 10 games. You got Jose Barrios on the mound for the Twins. I've always liked Barrios. He's a guy. I got sucked into the Jose Barrios hype when he came up in 2016. If you remember, they rushed this guy to the bigs like you read about, basically. I mean, he was totally not ready. He had like an 8 ERA. It was just, I always thought he was really good, but he was definitely not ready back in 2016. Pretty much since they've brought him back up, he's been one of the Twins' best pitchers. I think you could say he's their ace. I think this year he's definitely their ace. And 3.00 ERA coming into today, 0.95 WHIP. The Indians have really never hit him well, and this Indians lineup is a much more watered down version of the Indians lineups we've seen the last couple of years. So I like the matchup there. The weakness pitching wise would probably be the Twins bullpen, but I think the Twins bullpen is also probably better than they've shown so far this year. And I'm willing to take my chances with the Indians lineup, which I just don't think is very good. On the other side, you got Zach Plesac. Not a great start, but I'm willing to cut him some slack here because he's had to pitch back-to-back against the same team twice already. And the two teams that he's had to pitch against so far are teams that have seen him a ton, Tigers and White Sox. So that's back-to-back starts against the Tigers. And actually, if you look at his numbers, the most damage came against the White Sox. And when that White Sox team sees someone well, they usually pound people. Like if they, I know it's usually a lefty, but if they have a good beat on a pitcher, that White Sox lineup can really hit. If you go back to last season and the year before, the Twins have seen Plesac by far the least of anyone in the Central. So I think this is a good bounce back spot for Plesac to have a good start here. I mean, this guy, had a 2.28 ERA last year. In his rookie season, he had a 3.81 ERA, and his whip's always been in the 1.2 to 1.1 range. So I really like Plesac as a starter. I think he bounces back here. And the Indians have a top 5 bullpen, really in a couple of the different metrics. So I think it's ERA, and they're right in the top 5 to 8 teams bullpen wise. So it's a good bullpen. And the Twins' power numbers are down. So they're hitting okay for average. They're not hitting for power. Their home run numbers are down. I think it's slugging percentage and a couple of things are pretty far down from where they are. And I like this. If you throw out that big 13-12 game they played with the A's, their last 10 games, they've scored 2, 2, 2, 0, 0, 3, 4, 1, 2, 2. So other than that slugfest with the A's, they really haven't scored. I think I would have made this number either 7 or 7.5. I'm hoping it's still 8. I haven't checked it in an hour and a half or so, but Twins Indians under 8, I think is the best bet on the baseball board tonight. I won't spend this. Go ahead, John. Sorry.
I was going to ask you, it seems like a matchup where Cleveland is the pitching team with questionable bats, and then Minnesota can hit. But then the starters, you did a good breakdown of Plesac, but that the Minnesota bullpen then is questionable as the Cleveland bats. Is there a particular part of this matchup that you think just overrides, or is it just Plesac starting and he's going to do better than Cleveland starter, and that's
yeah. Yeah, I mean, so I think I know that the Twins bullpen hasn't been great, but I like the fact that the Twins pitching collectively last season in 10 matchups against the Indians, and what I perceived to be a better Indians lineup last year than the one they have this year, they held them to 2.6 runs per game. So some of that had to be the bullpen.
Yep.
And I am kind of banking on a little bit of a bounce back for Plesac. And I think I guess if I'm willing to take a shot with the Twins bullpen against a team that's hitting 206 as a team right now.
That makes sense.
You're going to have to take a shot somewhere. I mean, you're not always going to, everything's not always going to line up, but I think, I'm willing to take my chances with the Twins pen against an Indians team that I just don't think is very good offensively. And then the Twins lineup, and I'm just going to pull up. So right now, so Indians lineup, I have their bottom 5 in batting average, on base percentage, runs, RBIs, WRC plus, and WAR. And the Twins, they're pretty subpar right now in terms of, this Twins team the last few years has been, home run hitting team. They've had some really good power numbers, and I think the perception is that they're still that team. But if you look at their numbers close, take a closer look at their numbers. They're hitting the ball. They're hitting for average, but they're not really hitting the ball out of the ballpark, and they don't have the power numbers that, at least so far this year, that they've had in years past. So I'm going to take my chances there too. I think we get a bounce back from Plesac. Like I said, they haven't seen Plesac like the Tigers and the White Sox did last year. I think they've only seen Plesac maybe once in the past two seasons, once or twice in the past 2 seasons, where the other teams that, and specifically the White Sox, who accounted for most of the damage against Plesac so far this year, they've seen him a bunch. And that's a big, I really like looking at that when I handicap baseball. I like to fade pitchers when a team has seen him a bunch. And I think this is like one of those rare spots in the division where the Twins, it's just by luck of the draw almost, but they haven't really seen Plesac a ton. So I think it could kind of be a good spot for him to bounce back here. So I'm going to go with the under 8. I think there's value there. And I like a low scoring game. I think it's going to be it's the first time they're playing this year too. So they haven't seen each other yet this year. I'll call it something like 3-2. I think it's going to be an under.
I can give, for those out there that like Minnesota, this is a little bit of a gem of, this is the Major League Baseball edition of the angle of the day. So in this particular situation, you're going to play against any team. In this case, you're playing against Cleveland, starting a pitcher who was hammered for 6 or more runs in his last 2 starts. And with his team having an on-base percentage, which is pathetic, of 300 or worse. I can't even read that without smiling. 300 or worse over the last 15 games. That's Cleveland right now. And you did a great breakdown of summing those 2 factors up. That system, by the way, went 31-5 for 86% winners over the last 5 seasons. And one of those losses actually occurred this year. So this system is actually 0-1 for the year 2021. But that doesn't mean that it's due. Just because it's 31-5 and it's 0-1 now, you can't automatically assume that, oh boy, this is going to win tonight. But that's a pretty powerful betting system that supports Minnesota, and I like the under. And I think we got Ski Profit in the house.
What up, fellas? How y'all doing? What's up,
There
Adam? Finally on the
how's it
show
going?
with you. I'm good.
Adam, I've played that grand piano in the back, man. You should hear me. I've played piano since I was 6.
Yeah, John is awesome. He does magic tricks over there on the piano.
Well,
I actually, fun fact, I took 11 years of piano lessons when I was a kid. I actually used to be able to play. Haven't played in, probably close to 20 years at this point, but I did play the piano for most of my childhood. So there you go.
Yeah, it's an instrument where I sit down and it's 2 hours later. It's just it's therapeutic. But anyway, I'm still trying to convince Ski to trade that piece of junk in the background there for a Yamaha or a Baldwin Grand, and then I'd come over and visit more often.
You know, you're always welcome. And you know, I had a comment on that game you guys were talking about. I was seeing where Adam was going to go. I know he likes the under, but you know, I'm not a big fan of Plezak. I think I like Barrios a lot more, and I think this is a bounce back spot for the Twins. I like the Twins early and often in this one.
Well, that's the system play that I gave out, and I think Adam's on the under.
Yeah, I'm on the under.
Yeah.
I don't just I know I touched on. I mean, I love Barrios. I've been riding this. He's been like a play on for me whenever I can find a good spot to do it for years. So I would only probably lean Twins here from a side. I just, you know, I'm concerned that I'm concerned we're going to see I'm hoping that we're going to see the Plezak bounce back here and that he's going to pitch pretty good. But no, I don't hate the Twins from a side perspective. I think Barrios is definitely the better of the two starters. And again, it comes back to, you know, the Indians are hitting 206 as a team, and I just don't see I don't see this team hitting consistently. So I'd rather oppose if I was going to take a position on the side, I'd rather oppose the Indians offense than the Twins offense. But I think it was a pretty telling stat. I mean, the Twins have not hit in a while. If you throw out that ridiculous game they played against Oakland, 13-12, this team has not hit in like over 2 weeks. I don't think they've scored more. I think they have, I said it earlier, they have a crazy run of like 2 runs. They've been shut out twice. I think they've only put up 4 runs in that span once, and we're talking like a 10 or 11 game span. So the Twins are not hitting. And, you know, I think either way, I think whoever wins this game, it's going to probably be a low scoring game. But if you pinned me down for a side, I'd probably agree with you. I'd probably say that I'd be, willing to take the Twins. They had a pretty ugly loss yesterday, so it definitely feels like and the Twins, to me, I mean, so after yesterday's loss, they are now 7-13. They're going to trend back toward 500. This is not a team that's going to stay 6-7 games under 500 very long. So I don't mind the Twins as like a play on team, like going forward, only because I don't think they're going to stay 6 games under 500. They're going to start hitting some more home runs. Their power numbers are below where they should be. So yeah, it's probably not a terrible time to bet the Twins. You're probably getting a better price than you normally would on Barrios here too.
Yeah, the last 7 games, Minnesota's been really torching the ball, scoring 3 runs a game.
Yeah,
229 on base percentage of 271, and he had 7 home runs. You know, so that's 1 per game.
But you have to, like, if you look at their last couple weeks and you throw out that one game where it just was like all hell broke loose in that A's Twins game, and it was like a 13-12 final. The Twins offense has been poor. Like,
not good. Those numbers I just read off do not include that.
Yeah, so
that was prior to that, but still, point well made.
And I'd be interested. So I made one. I have a rare. I don't play a ton of NBA, but I have one tonight. That's my other.
He's gonna love this. Now he's wheelhouse.
My other 4-unit play tonight. I'm taking the Pelicans +2, and I like opposing teams like the Clippers before they're going to play a massive sort of national TV game, which is what they have on Wednesday against the Suns. So I know the Clippers have been hot, but you're looking at, and I just want to make sure I say this right, and they've got a bunch of guys out here. So I think you're going to get Paul George and Morris that are in, and the guys that have been out are still out. The ones that have been out sort of recently, like Kawhi is definitely out. I think it looks like you've got Ibaka's still out, Beverly's still out. They're going to rest Kennard. Rondo and Yogi Ferrell are both questionable. I'd be surprised at how much either of them play. So it's basically going to be Morris and George with whoever the Clippers decide to dish out minutes to. And it falls into kind of there. So I remember when we were talking last week, I was talking about the Bucks being in that 3 spot where, they had a pretty big gap between 3 and 4 in the East when we were talking last week. The Clippers are kind of in that spot in the West. So this is really a do or die game for the Pelicans. If they want to have any shot at getting into that play-in, they have to win tonight. And they're 4.5 games behind the Warriors and Spurs, but they've got 3 head-to-head matchups against the Warriors in their final 12 games. So it's in New Orleans, where they're a much better team at home. At least they've been a much better team at home this year than on the road. I feel like with the actual team that's going to be on the floor tonight, I thought the Pelicans should have been maybe a point favorite. So when I locked this in earlier, it was +2. I haven't looked and seen it. I haven't seen if it's moved at all yet. It looks like we're maybe 1.5 or 1 some places now. Just feels like a do or die spot for the Pelicans. And I think, the way I look at it, I'll take Zion and Ingram and the supporting cast from the Pelicans against Morris and George and what the Clippers are going to trot out there tonight. And I just think I've said this. I always say this with the NBA. These guys in the regular season, they care about the big national TV game. There's no doubt in my mind. I know the Clippers have been hot, but the game they care about is Wednesday against Phoenix, not tonight against the Pelicans. But it's do or die for the Pelicans. And if you want my sort of full breakdown of it, I put that one up. That's on my sports memo page, sm.buzz-tfs. I did a write-up and I posted it for that one. But taking the points with the Pelicans tonight.
And there's a system that has been on the NBA Wager Talk show that Ski and Rob probably have memorized by now that supports the Pelicans. It was not the NBA betting system of the day-to-day, though, but it's one of the group of 25 that I put together that have hit 62% over the last 5 years as a combined unit of betting systems. And it's, playing on any team in a game that's lying between +3 and -3. And it's a team that's outscoring their opponents by 6 or more points per game. Obviously, the Clippers, after 3 straight games where both teams scored 105 or more points in each one. That's gone 54-20, and that's 72% the last 5 seasons, and it says to bet the heck out of the Pelicans. Now, Ski, do you agree?
I would agree, just because I think that the Pelicans have had success when they're a home dog. That's been probably their most profitable road this year, maybe. Or I don't know, maybe I'm wrong about that, but I know they've had success. And I look at the Clippers team, like Adam said, I like the lineup a lot better for the Pelicans. If I like the Clippers, I'm just solely going to isolate Paul George. He's went over 30 points, 7 of the last 8 of the last 9 games, something like that. And without Kawhi out there, he still has the green light. So we know Pelicans games at home usually go over, and that's the way I would attack it. It would either be the Pelicans on the full game or Paul George points over for the Clipper side.
Ski and you guys, do you remember when the Clippers played the Sixers and Paul George was listed as questionable, and it actually was reported that he was not going to play, and he played in that game, and he was about as injured as I am. It was almost I don't know why he was out actually, but ever since that game, he's been doing just terrific.
Yeah, even before that, he's been pretty good. I think Tony Finn listed him out that game.
Yeah. Yep. Oh, by the way, I can brag about my buddies that come on the show here. Ski's great in the NBA, and Rob Vino actually was the top Wager Talk NBA guy last year, and he's about to do it 2 years in a row, which is unheard of. It just doesn't happen. I guess I think Tony said that Dave Koken had done back to back, but it was, well, you can't believe Tony's years. I think he said 1600, and that, Dave Koken wasn't born in 1600, but that's what Tony said. But the point is that when you're in this kind of company and you're even in the top 5 among this group, you've had an incredible season. So now that I gave you the floor here, Rob, what do you think about this game?
Well, I would probably play it over. like I would any New Orleans home game. New Orleans, an incredible totals record at home toward the over for sure. We know
22
what
and
the
9.
Clippers, yeah, there you go. We know that the Clippers are going to come out and shoot threes. It's what they do. They're the best in the NBA at it. Whatever they trot out there, it still shoots threes. Luke Kennard, I think the very last game they played, he only made one. But they've been playing without the other guys for a while. Kawhi, it'll be like his third straight out. Ibaka's been out. They've all been out. But Terrence Mann and Reggie Jackson, whoever they put in there, they still shoot threes. So I would think that from my perspective, I would rather play over. The trouble with me trusting New Orleans is that they were in the same desperation mode a couple of nights ago at home as a favorite against San Antonio, a team that has zero prayer of stopping Zion from scoring. And yet they found a way to lose 110 to 108. I question how badly they really want a playoff seed, to tell you the truth. And I don't say that from the coach's perspective, because I know Van Gundy wants it in the worst way. But these players, we've been saying for years, I don't think they play for him whatsoever. I don't doubt that they'll play tonight, but they'll play because of the opposition. It's the LA Clippers. But these guys, and I go back to 3 games ago where they're in a dogfight at the end of the game against Brooklyn, and Stan Van Gundy calls timeout and tells the team to foul, and they don't foul. And Eric Bledsoe asked after the game, "Why didn't you foul?" "Oh, I forgot the coach told me to foul." They're not even listening to the guy. So there's a real disconnect between coach and team. New Orleans has the personnel to keep up with these guys. There's no question. The only other thing I'd say where playoffs are concerned, guys, is that Los Angeles is on this 4-game win streak now. And it looks to me, when you look at the standings, that the Lakers are locked in at 5. I mean, they're 4 games behind the 4 slot with 12 to play. It doesn't look like they're going to make it to 4. They're locked in at 5. The way the playoffs are seeded, it's 2, 3, 5, and 7. Is that right? 2, 3, 5, and 6, maybe, and 1, 4, 7, and 8. However it goes.
Yeah, that's it.
If you get to 1, you avoid the Lakers. And the Clippers are 2 games from that spot right now. Phoenix and Utah are still ahead of them. So maybe they want to get to that 1 spot too. And if they meet up with the Lakers, it's a championship series for the Western Conference rather than prior to a semifinal meeting or something. So maybe they've got something to play for. Again, I just don't trust the Pelicans whatsoever at this point in time. There's no question the starting personnel on paper is good enough to win. But I would trust the total more. New Orleans hasn't played defense all season long. I don't know how much defense. When you take Kawhi, Ibaka, and all these guys off of the Clipper roster, they become an average defensive team at best. So to me, 228.5 looked a little small. I would try over.
It's another way they just don't play for Van Gundy is, like, he's historically been really good defensively. His teams have always been good defensively. So that definitely kind of supports what Rob said, is like he's clearly not getting through to this group because they're just atrocious defensively.
Does anybody remember JJ Redick in the beginning of the year? He's like, I got to deal with this crap again.
Yeah.
And then eventually left the team. So, yeah, I don't think anybody likes Van Gundy's style right now.
No, and JJ Redick, to his credit, because he's got his own radio show, actually listed Zion Williamson as the best teammate he's had in a 14-year career. Zion plays every single night, regardless of who the head coach is. Sometimes you get a group that just doesn't want to play all that much defense. And then you get a group that doesn't want to listen to some guy screaming at you for 7 timeouts a game. And that certainly looks to be the reaction here, this particular set of personnel with their head coach. I'm surprised they hired him. I'd be surprised if they keep him. He's talking as if, I've got to make adjustments for next year personnel wise. Like he's still going to be around. And I
don't think he will.
Don't let Teddy hear that, Rob.
Yeah, I mean, I got to stop because I got to get off I can't stand Stan Van Gundy coaching the Pelicans.
So I'm kind of like it.
It's been all season long, John. I mean, I'm sick of hearing that guy. I think I started ranting on Twitter back in December. I'm sick of hearing him say that the team needs to improve defense, that the team needs to play more defense. And if I'm sick of it, Brandon Ingram's sick of it. Eric Bledsoe's sick of it.
Yep.
Steven Adams, who loves to play defense, is probably sick of it. Although I don't know that Steven Adams cares much. But you get the point, John. It's just it wasn't a good fit. And it's too much talent. As far as I'm concerned, Ski, you'll remember back, you and I did an NBA preview show with Kelly, right, where we did season over-under wins.
In the
and
archives.
I remember saying, yeah, it got lost on the cutting room floor, right? I remember going out on a limb with the Pelicans over. And I remember, your rebuttal was, I don't know that their spacing is going to be any good, whatever. But I thought from my angle that Van Gundy would be able to get some defense through to the team, but it hasn't happened from the get-go. And like I say, it's too good personnel to waste. They got good players on this team, guys. They should be, on paper, they should be in the playoffs without any question. And this guy has coached them right into the draft lottery. So what you would bring them back for is beyond me. And that gets way off the point of Adams' play with New Orleans. I'll certainly be rooting for Adam. Guys, root for me. I need over. Root for everybody.
I mean, I think the last meeting, I looked at it earlier, was like 135 to 115. So they put up, 250 last time. And, I'm hoping that there's that little resistance for the Pelicans, because the Pelicans won that game. So the Pelicans, I believe, won the last meeting 135, 115. And if you think about it, like Zion and Ingram should be able to kind of do what they want here. So with the defensive lineup that the Clippers are going to put out today. So yeah, we'll see. I guess I probably have the Pelicans overrated. I've probably been higher on them than I should be all season. If they don't win this game, they're done. Like, they have to win this game. So I'm going to take my last stand with the Pelicans here. I think I got a good number. I got +2. I'm thinking it might go off a pick, so I don't know how much that matters, but we'll go with the Pelicans.
Hey, Rob, I don't know if you remember, but he's reminding me of myself last year, hanging on to life with the Pelicans. I don't know. You might have to let go.
Yeah. Well, Van Gundy's definitely not going to be the coach next year if they don't somehow get into a 10-team playoff or whatever it is. Like, that's just inexcusable with the talent that he's got.
They're probably at 4.5 behind with 12 to play. They're probably not getting there. Which begs the question, what will the owner do with this guy? But, Ski, and guys, real quick, the amount of ex-Lakers, Lonzo Ball, Brandon Ingram and company, you remember that big trade? I just feel like I said it in the beginning, if they're going to play tonight, and I think they will, it's because these guys are all ex-Lakers and they're playing the Clippers. I think that motivates them more than Van Gundy could ever motivate them. They look across the floor, they see Clippers, you'll see pretty good nights out of these guys. That game Saturday night bothers me. When you can't beat San Antonio with no center, you're at home and you're the favorite, and they somehow beat you. And you needed that game. Let's face it, Saturday night they needed the game as well.
They've actually lost 5 of 6. They've needed all these games.
Horrible. But I do think seeing the Clippers on the other side probably motivates them as much as anything here to have big nights, especially the ex-Laker guys.
Yeah.
Their saving grace with being 4 back is they've got 3 games against the Warriors still, and that's who they're 4 back of. So they have 3 head-to-head matchups with the Warriors.
That's not going to help them. Yeah, I don't think they want to see Steph, right?
I was going to say to win all 3 of those is a long shot.
That's kind of what you need, though. I mean, that's if you want 3 games against the team that you're chasing. Right. So
you need the opportunity. What they can make out of the opportunities is another question, but point well taken. The opportunity's there. It's right in front of them if they really want it. I'm not saying that they don't, but they don't.
Yeah.
they don't act like they. I don't know. I'll get off of it. Go ahead, John.
I'm going to move us over to my one of my favorite topics now is the 215-235 segment of our show. So betting under 215 this year has been brilliant. Betting over 235 has been brilliant. 69% for the season, betting under 215. We have, I think, 4 games I saw. The first one is the Chicago-Miami game, 206. That's actually one of my picks tonight, under. I don't think they make it to 200. I don't think either team scores 100. How's that? The next game, 213.5, Cleveland-Toronto. That one opened at 217, drifted through 215. So now that's a favorable sign to bet the under. Then we have, Phoenix and the Knicks is pretty close, 215.5. I'd probably stay off of that because it's not through the number. Then the top game, Lakers-Orlando, 209.5. And I like that one to go under by quite a bit too. That's another game where, as unimaginable as it might sound, I see the Lakers and Orlando not reaching 100. This game could be, maybe the Lakers score 102, like 102 to 85. That's kind of what I'm seeing in that revisiting of the 1996 NBA season, where 102 points was the highest scoring team in the league. But seriously, those trends have been wonderful this year. And then 235 has hit 64%. And we got Washington over 228. We have over in the Minnesota-Utah game. Oh, no, sorry, scratch that. It's 227. So that's the only one. Maybe Dallas-Sacramento. Keep your eyes on that one because that seems to be trending massively to the over. 227.5 on the open. Well, actually, I misread that. Sorry. It's the end of the day, and I can't see, I guess. But the 200 plays that I mentioned, I think I like quite a bit just based on the merit of that trend.
We're sitting on a lot of injuries in that game, John, especially where Dallas is concerned, trying to see who's going to play and who's not going to play. We had talked about this on NBA Tip-Off earlier. Dallas, a team where that was pretty vocal, right? Luka Doncic came out and made sure that Commissioner Adam Silver knew that his 7 through 10 playoff tournament format sucked. And Mark Cuban was real quick to get behind him and second his star player. And the 2 games they played against the Lakers, they played like it. They played like they wanted to get the 6th spot, which they sit in right now. And they don't want to be involved in that 7 through 10. But then tonight, there's a whole host of players on that injury list. We know Porzingis didn't play last game. We know Maxi Kleber came back last game. But for Dallas, I'm sure that what runs through their head, and you can't lose a game to Sacramento without De'Aaron Fox. I mean, especially if you're chasing the 6th seed, you cannot lose a game to the Kings without De'Aaron Fox. But I'm sure what runs through their head is, if we got 5 guys that are questionable here, we could probably do without 3 of them and still beat the Kings. The question becomes which ones of these guys are going to play or not. We don't know that yet. Makes it kind of tough to handicap that game. And we'll see. The other thing about the total, which is where you were going with it, is a couple of games back, Rick Carlisle openly said that his team needed to increase pace. He wasn't happy with the, 4 low, 1 high offense that they were running. Luka pound the ball like James Harden, run 20 seconds off the clock. Let's get the best shot we can. And so they did it. They came out against the Pistons and scored 127 points that night. And then they played the 2 games against the Lakers. I don't know that the pace was really increased. I didn't notice a real uptick in pace, but that's what they're aiming for here. So when you're talking about totals, you wonder how fast Dallas will play, how slow Dallas will play. We know what the Kings will do. Even without Fox, they're going to run up and down the floor. They put Halliburton in the starting lineup in place of Fox. And real quick, where the Lakers are concerned, Ski, you'll know this. Anthony Davis called these next 2 games must-wins. It's a must-win in Orlando, and it's a must-win. I'm forgetting the game after this, but when I saw him interviewed, he was, another lousy team, right? Maybe it was DC. I think he said in Orlando and DC, they're 2 must-wins. So I'd expect them to treat it pretty serious here tonight. Orlando back-to-back. To your point about totals, John, Orlando might not get to 95 because they're capable of it anyway on a regular night. never mind.
Is that what the team total is?
I don't even know.
Yeah, if it was that was the team total, I would be betting that before the show was over. On the under.
You're right about that. It's at Magic at Wizards, but continue.
Yeah, at Magic at Wizards. So Anthony Davis is pretty intense about winning. John, 3 of their last 8, Orlando has not exceeded 97. 5 of their last 8, they haven't exceeded 102, which, again, makes a strong case for you playing under 209 in that game. The Lakers might get theirs because Orlando's just terrible defensively for lack of personnel, but Orlando not going to get theirs. And I guess, Ski, if I go back to the tip-off show, it backs your laying 10 with the Lakers tonight, because if they're motivated and they're playing this lousy team, they could probably get this done in the first half.
And I told you, I didn't catch whatever Anthony Davis quote you got this last time, but it's not the first time that he's spoken about it. Like the Lakers, LeBron, Anthony Davis, whoever it may be, the Lakers don't lose 3+ games in a row. That's just not something that you see the Lakers do. And as a result, you're going to get maximum effort tonight. You see Anthony Davis won't have a minutes restriction. And just like you said, it could start early. I like him. First quarter, first half, full game. I think it's a beatdown on the Magic.
Yeah, I'm with you. Well, I guess we're at that point of the show. We should go around the table for our final bets, but I want to recap a few of them. Tony Finn, who he wanted to know that he said hello, number one, but he also wanted you to know not to worry about him going to get his first dose of the vaccine.
Oh, well, next time you see him, you can let him know that. You can let him know that I waited until he hopped off to hop on the show.
Boy, there was one time, Ski, I wish I had Tony right here in the backstage, and all of a sudden I make him appear. That would be funny.
I love Tony. Anyway, I'll kid with him.
Tony likes the Yankees on the run line full game tonight, and I'm with him on that. Ira, who came on for the hockey, he likes Carolina and Florida as full bets, and then he has a heavy lean on Montreal. Speaking for Mr. Vino, first 5 Milwaukee, I believe, so far.
Yeah, Corbin Burns, fairly cheap price in my opinion, minus 120. You have to, as we know, when we were talking with Ira, you have to just pray that Milwaukee can get you a couple of runs, but I still think the price is worth it here. And again, no disrespect to Rogers for the Marlins, who's turning out to be one heck of a pitcher. That staff is incredible. If you want to go NBA here real quick, John, I'll just go ahead and reiterate what I said on the NBA tip-off show, which is Phoenix Knicks over 105 and a half first half. The Knicks first halves have been incredibly high scoring the last 3 times out. I don't think there's been one under 123. And recently they've put a lot of overs, first half overs on display. The Phoenix Suns in this back-to-back situation, 5 games in 8 nights on the road. If they're going to show energy, I figure it'll be first half here. Second half could be where the fatigue sets in. One more real key fundamental piece where the Knicks are concerned tonight is that Phoenix, without their top 2 power forwards, means Julius Randle from start to finish should have a big night here, an easy scoring night, something like what Zion had Saturday night against the Spurs. There's just no resistance when you're playing 2 swing men, 2 small forwards as your starting front line, which Phoenix is, against Julius Randle. So I think we'll get points here over 105 first half or 105 and a half Knicks Phoenix.
Yeah, I like that quite a bit, Rob. Finishing it off here, we have Adam Trigger. He is playing the under in the Twins-Indians game. He also likes the Pelicans in the NBA, obviously. And for our chat room, this is take like 10 seconds of each one of us. And like either yes or no, and if you have something to support it, just a real quick blur. But we want to know if Utah's going to cover. They're double-digit road dogs, minus 10, totals 227 against the Minnesota Timberwolves. Let's start with Ski, and we'll just go right around the board here.
I'll pull a Steve Merrill backwards, Steve Merrill. I wouldn't even take them with your money. So no, I don't think they cover.
So it's not the Swiss Miss. It's just not betting with Steve Merrill's money.
There you go.
All right. Very good. I think they do. They have an awful lot to play for suddenly. We were talking about this on the show last week with the importance or unimportance that teams like Milwaukee and LA Lakers could care less what seed they knew they were in. That seems to have changed a little bit this week. There's an urgency with the Sixers tonight too. The NBA system of the day actually supported Oklahoma City not to win but to cover the spread. So if you're betting Philly, in my opinion, I would be a little cautious. They have lost 4 in a row. They're not playing with a full deck. Don't mean that mentally. They're not playing with the complete arsenal of talent that they have. Ben Simmons and his defensive presence has been missed immensely in these 4 games. So be careful on that one. So that's my take here. I went more than 15 seconds, so I'll find myself.
I'll throw a lean out. I would lean Timberwolves with the points. Pretty much just my only real rationale there is last week we talked about how double-digit favorites were just covering like crazy leading up to when we had that discussion last week, but how that's probably an unsustainable rate that they've been hitting at. And I think you even ran a couple systems that supported that might trend back toward the mean a little bit from here on out for the rest of the year. So, this is when I say lean, I mean, I'm not going to have anything on this game. And but if I absolutely had to bet it, I think I would take the 10 points. It looks like it's 10
across the board.
10 across the board. I think I would take the 10 points if I had to bet this game.
What do you think, Rob? Pass?
Hey, real quick in 10 seconds, I'll say this. Steve Merrill loves the game. Steve Merrill gave Utah as a best bet. John, real quick also for you, Ben Simmons is in the lineup tonight. So the
there you
return
go.
of Ben for the 76ers has created a surge.
So is Tobias.
And it looks like Tobias as well. Ben was being questioned all afternoon, second guest all afternoon on Philadelphia Sports Talk Radio. What's the problem? Why is he sitting out? We got games to win. He's costing us a number 1 seed. And miraculously, the flu-like symptoms are gone tonight. So Ben's in. The first half and the game number have both gone up considerably since
14.
We've been on air here. Yeah, I saw the first half, Philly jumped from 7 to 9. So, hey, if you guessed right and thought they were going to play, then you got good numbers. If you're coming late to the window, you still might have a good number because OKC just isn't all that interested in winning games right now.
That's very true. That changes it. That's why it's so important. Like this show just happens to coincide with the 5:30 injury report. And even then, that gives you a glimpse of what might happen. But, that case with Paul George, I'll never forget. Like he was listed as questionable and played like he was 100%. Not saying anything bad about Paul George. I like the player. I like how he plays, and he generally brings the load to the game like 99% of the time, if not 100. But those are the things that have made the NBA so
until the playoffs
difficult to handicap. What was that, Ski?
Until the playoffs. If nobody wants to shit on Paul George, I'll be the one.
Oh, you don't like him?
I do not.
Wow, I didn't know that.
I have a very heavy dislike for Paul George.
Wow.
I mean,
I don't really say like I try not to hate anybody.
You guys remember before Anthony Davis, LeBron was there, but we were supposed to get Paul George. And between him and Kawhi, they just kind of played the Lakers, and I didn't appreciate that situation. And so it fits him that he was pandemic P in the playoffs.
Well said. Well said. All right, so let's see. We only have one more thing to do here. We did the best bets now recap during the show. Now we'll just go around, again, 10 seconds. We'll end the show. My best bet. My best bet is under in the Miami-Chicago game. What do you have, Steve?
That sounds like maybe a good one. I don't think there's a lefty on the mound for Chicago to pound on, so you probably have success there. For me, I'll go Lakers first half. I talked about it enough today, but I think it's a smash spot. I think they start early and it extends throughout the entire game. So I'll take Lakers first half -6.
Lakers first half. Rob?
Yeah, I gave it to you guys. I think Knicks and Phoenix over 105.5 first half. Also the Corbin Burns with Milwaukee, first 5 -0.5 run, -120. Real quick here, John, again, about 20 minutes ago, as we were talking, Russell Westbrook listed as in the Washington lineup, which sent a flurry of money toward the Wizards. San Antonio had been a 4-point favorite. Now I think they're down to 1.5 or 2. It pushed the total. The total is now 230 and climbing. First half total went to 114. So a lot of action going on as we speak here on your Mannys Pub show.
Yeah.
For me, I have 2 best bets. The one in baseball is going to start in a couple minutes. Indians Twins under 8. And I've got one in the NBA. I'm going with the Pelicans, taking the 2 points. And that's going to be it for me tonight.
And our proprietor, Manny, just slipped me a note saying he is all over the Sixers. Okay, so Manny, our proprietor who lets us hang out here, Sixers lay it no matter what he says.
Is he like the bartender? Is he a fade, or I don't know? What are we doing with this one?
He owns the building, man. He owns every bottle. He owns the glasses. But
we'll play nice then.
Pitches in. You might see him walk behind me sometime.
All right, we'll play nice then.
Good guy, man.
Pretty
He's just
sure
a little camera shy.
I think the bartender's been MIA, Ski, huh?
Yep.
Haven't seen anything from him in a while.
Well, anyway, thanks, guys, for joining me today. Thanks for the chat room here. We've had a lot of people joining this show. It's ramping up every single time we make an appearance. So it's very, very appreciative that you guys take your time to listen to us. Hopefully we gave you some winners tonight, and we'll look forward to seeing you tomorrow. So for Adam, Ski, Rob Vino, myself, and Tony Finn, and Ira, and anybody else I forgot, may all the wins be yours.